Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
Hello. I'm Stella Chan. I'm a program manager on the Microsoft Office RoundTable team. I'm here to present to you the latest and greatest Microsoft Build and Brand Device Microsoft Office RoundTable, which is also known as the Son of RainCam, if you're familiar with the RainCam project that came out of Microsoft Research by Ross Cutler. And we are actually taking the technology that we built at Microsoft Research and into a product group and basically went through the whole hardware ship cycle to make it a Microsoft hardware product. And just to give you a brief overview, the product is actually going to sim ship next year together with Office Communication Server 2007. And to start out, I would like to show you a live demo of the actual device that we have here. And over here, you can see that we have the 360-degree video, which is basically, we can see that if I move around, basically I can see that we see the 360-degree view around the room by the camera. And in addition to the 360-degree view, let me position this in a way that we can see both of the video. There is also another video stream that we're sending, which is the active speaker video. The way that it works is if I move around and speak right here, the device will continue to track me. And the reason that I'm a little chopped off right now is because I'm actually standing up. The way that the device is designed is that if you are all sitting down in the conference room, it will track me perfectly if I'm sitting down. So it is designed to track the active speaker. Depending on who is the latest active speaker, the device will try to follow it. And it also follows some scenographic rules so that it doesn't switch way too randomly. So then it wouldn't try to switch if we have the tiniest noise at one corner to cause it to randomly switch. It's an adaptive program that we actually continue to refine based on the meetings that we collected at Microsoft as well as outside, and to basically tell when the device will switch. So that's to show you that this is actually real, and it works right out of the box, with Windows Vista as well as with Windows XP SP2. And so.
Can I stay here and it will track me? Hello? Hello?
It did.
It did. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the first part. We do have mirrors in our camera head. We just want to show you that it's not just smokes and mirrors, it's actually real hardware that we're doing. So that's that. So oftentimes, we have discovered that an average information worker working these days, that we have way too many meetings. We have phone meetings, actual meetings, and on average, everybody has 61.8 meetings per month. And oftentimes, after we have meetings, we have notes, etc., and lots of information they get lost in the way. And what we're trying to do in our project is to combine the existing Microsoft Office Live meeting together with the latest hardware technology that we have to create the most innovative multimedia communication that allows effective collaboration between sites. And how are we going to do that? So first of all, we have the hardware piece. And the core scenario that we have is, since we're going to put this device in a conference room, the device will have to be a speakerphone replacement because you don't want multiple devices of this size lying around in a conference room. This device, as a standalone, without plugging into the PC, it is a full echo canceling speakerphone replacement. It can replace the Polycom speakerphone that a lot of people have in their conference room. And as you can see, from the 360-degree camera that we have, as well as the active speaker camera head that we have, this is a webcam plus. And it allows local meeting recording through our live meeting console. And by joining to the server infrastructure, we also allow for remote attendees around the world. And the Office communication server infrastructure actually allows you to have multiple party conferences using webcams and RoundTable. And that's done on enabled by the server side. And just to tell you a little bit about the device itself, it's a Windows CE 5.0 device. It has the 360-degree panorama video conferencing. As we have already seen, it has the automatic speaker detection, cancels echoes. Although it's a speakerphone, it doesn't. You won't hear yourself over a line again. And it integrates with the Office communication server infrastructure through the Office Live Meeting as well as Office Communicator. It plugs into my PC via the USB port and it's totally plug and play. It passes WHQL for Windows XP, and it will pass WHQL for Windows Vista as well. So yes?
While you're on the device, can you speak to the resolutions that you're providing?
Actually, I have a later slide that talks about the actual camera head itself. But just to tell you a little bit about the user experience, here is a mock-up screenshot of the latest live meeting. What happened is we combine the data sharing experience in live meeting and enrich that with the audio and video experience, and you still get your normal live meeting functionality with data sharing, and then we allow users to add in the audio over PC or audio over PSTN, and we allow them to send video streams, and live meeting also, and we install any necessary drivers that is needed for RoundTable, in this installation for the appropriate OS. And the new video panes, they can be docked, they are floatable, and it can be arranged in ways that the presenter wants to make it to be. It depends on the person's preference. They might want to dock the speaker video in different places, and then you can turn on and off the panoramic view of the remote room. And well, some people like just to see the active speaker, and this is a classic video-only view. And if you have multiple display, you can actually just display the video in one display and then the data sharing in a different window. Of course, the way that we design it is this product will actually work in a very wide range of meetings. One kind of meeting is very collaborative meetings across different geographical locations, of very small product groups talking to each other. And on the other end is a lot of participants trying to view a recording of a pre-recorded e-learning course or a conference that they could not attend physically. So by doing that, we want to target a very wide range of applications. And the good thing about adding video is we actually see the immediate response from the other side. Because oftentimes when we talk over the phone, we don't know the real reaction from the other side is. We can pick up nonverbal cues, when somebody is talking, oh, I'm going to raise the price by 5 cents, and maybe the other side is making funny faces when that happens. And if we're just talking over the phone, we wouldn't know that. And also combining the synchronization between when we're flipping slides together with the video, we know exactly when certain events happen. The RoundTable is actually going to be pretty affordable compared with the current traveling costs. And I think the go-to-market price that marketing tentatively have is a price point of between $2,000 to $3,000 per device. It's pretty easy. Just plug in through a USB port and it works. And it should be seamlessly adaptable if somebody is already deploying Office Communication Live Server. And so that's that. And the other cool part is we actually support recording. We can record a meeting and play back at a later time. And the recording actually enables contextual search of data within the meeting. And at this point, I would like to show you a quick pre-recorded meeting that we did a while ago. And just to give you a sense of the UI, is actually the real UI that we're going to show you. Okay. Switch to that.
Hello. Thanks for attending the meeting. For this meeting, we're using a device called the Microsoft Office RoundTable. We're using it both to send video to you and to record the meeting. Neil, would you want to talk about some of the features of the device?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. RoundTable is a device that came out of Microsoft Research. For the video piece of it, it essentially provides you with two streams. The first stream provides you with regular video, and the second stream provides you with a 360-degree view of the meeting room. And to talk a little bit about how this is accomplished, I'm going to hand it over to Ray.
Thanks, Neil. So the 5 different cameras that are used for the Panorama are actually looking at totally different regions of the room, and then by an algorithm designed exclusively by Microsoft Research for the RoundTable, they're seamlessly stitched together so that you can actually see everything flawlessly. To talk about the audio features, I'll hand it over to Akash.
Thank you, Ray. So in addition to the panorama that Ray just described, it also has an array of microphones on the device, which allows the device to localize, to identify the person who's talking, and then switch the active speaker video to that person's video seamlessly. And that's how you've been able to see the video switching from the various speakers who've been talking before I did. And now I'm going to hand it over to Raj, who will describe some other aspects of this device.
Thank you so much, Akash. So the beauty of this device is, besides serving as a very high-quality conference room speakerphone, it also has a USB connector, which allows you to connect it to a PC, and it integrates very richly with RoundTable. This allows you to see the active speaker as well as the panoramic who's in the room view in the live meeting console. It also integrates very richly with the VoIP feature in the live meeting console.
All right. Well, that was a quick overview. Hopefully you'll attend many more Microsoft Office Roundtable meetings, and look forward to meeting with you again soon.
All right, let me switch back to the... Right. So as you can see, like from the video, like when the video is going on, like we actually synchronize with the events when the slide flips happen. So people can actually talk to the slide, and it can be showed in subsequent recordings. And the other thing that we have is, so this is the high-level system architecture of how the RoundTable device talk to the live meeting and the Office communication server infrastructure. So the device is connected to a PC like mine, like a Toshiba laptop, and then you can run live meeting. And live meeting will actually handle all of the negotiation with the server infrastructure to set up the streams for the video and audio as well as data. And it can switch the packets to multiple points in the meeting. And okay, so let me switch to talk about a little bit more about the devices. So here is a very old schematic diagram of the device. The ID and the color scheme has obviously changed. We have a 3700 by 600 360-degree camera. That's the raw actual resolution. But for the actual resolution that we are sending to the PC as well as to the network, we actually tune it down to about 1/4 of the raw resolution, because the network does not want to take that much video right now. We actually take that into our design consideration, and we have a loudspeaker, a high-quality loudspeaker, and the device on the bottom of the device we have 6 microphones. It's a microphone array, and we used basically the microphone arrays to determine where the active speaker is located, and so that we can do active speaker switching. In addition to the sound source, we actually use video features such as human torso shape, head shape, moving mouths, and gestures to determine whether or not it's actually a human speaker we would not want to switch to non-physical speakers, such as basically those PC speakers when it's playing some sound. And so our algorithm actually use both the video features as well as the sound source localizer to figure out where the active speaker is. And the device has a color LCD screen, which we normally will use it to dial a phone number. And also on that, like we have a short tutorial about how to use the device, and as well as some like diagnostic information about the device. And the speakerphone itself has like basically echo canceller, noise suppressor, automatic gain control, because some people are softer than the others and they might sit further away from the device. We have automatic gain control to actually boost up the soft speakers. And we have SSL, which is the sound source localizer, and ASD, which is the active speaker detector. And the device also have 2 USB ports, which is a USB host to allow for plugging in of an external keypad, because we do not, I mean, once the device is placed in a conference room, we prefer to stay at the center of the table instead of being dragged along the table. So we actually allow like plugging in for an external keypad for people to dial like at the end of the table. And in the LTM version, we also allow for 2 satellite microphones to be plugged into the base of the device. If I can lift real quick, can plug it in there. So then like people sitting at the end of the conference room can also be picked up more efficiently. But on top of all, this is the camera head itself is the biggest innovation. It came from the RingCam project, and it has been refined many versions to make it more efficient, more seamless, and much more manufacturable. The thing is the revolution that has happened in order to make it manufacturable is actually the adoption of the view camera technology. So we have 5 mirrors that's kind of like the airport like towers to reflect the lights into the camera heads in order to allow for really close center of projections for the 5 cameras. So then like when we stitch the individual images from the individual camera heads together, we can stitch it much more efficiently without having to worry about parallax effect. And here's the geek software diagram of architectural diagram of the device. The device itself actually has a CPU and 2 DSPs. We have a dedicated DSP to handle video processing and a dedicated DSP to handle audio processing. And we also like have a basic system support for dialing numbers, image updates, because like these days like firmware will have to get updated in the field, because like we might have enhancement to our algorithm, enhancement to video quality down the road, and these devices are actually updatable after they leave the factory. So that's on a high level like basically what the device supports. And just to talk about a little bit more about the camera, so we have 5 camera heads. And each of them are 800 by 600 in raw resolution, and stitched together when we get the image on the device itself is 3700 by 600 in pixels in resolution. And we also try have an algorithm to smooth out the sims between cameras, because like not all individual camera heads are created equal. They have their own characteristics. And we actually do correction from the firmware side to make sure that like that we do color correction to make sure that like the transition is smooth. And as you can see, the before and after like smooth out. And the most interesting part about this device is we actually do automatic speaker detection. We actually train the device on hundreds of meetings that we collect at Microsoft. And as I said before, we use both the sound source localizer, which is the inputs from the mics, as well as the video feature. So at this point, I would like to show you a quick video clip of how the active speaker detection is done. Okay. I need to switch to this view.
This is a demo of the active speaker detector on the RoundTable. Notice at the bottom of the screen there's a green histogram which shows the probability distribution function of the sound source localizer. As I speak and move side to side, the green rectangles start to track me. The red box shows me the output of the active speaker detector. That's a combination of the audio and video features used in the RoundTable. If I come over here and I start speaking, notice that the PDF also changes to my location. And the red box should be tracking me even if I'm moving side to side. In fact, if I turn around like this, I'm still being tracked. And then as I move over here, I'm also being tracked.
So one of the things that people might have noticed is at one point when Ross was sitting on the side, like you see two peaks in the green histogram. The reason is because our offices have very questionable acoustic. It has that ellipse effect when you speak at one focal point, like you can hear it at the other focal point. So we have an artificial peak at a different location. And the reason that we actually thought about the using the video feature to fix those is because we have that problem in our offices, and we have to fix it. And that also fixes the issue when people actually have like non-human speakers playing out music in the room. So that's that. And to move this back. Right. So to sum it all up, again, like we are releasing next year, we will send some ship with Office Communication Server and Live Meeting in 2007. And due to our low price point, like we want to target like millions of conference rooms, and and the device should be super easy to use, just like plug and play, minimal training needed, and minimal like deployment, additional deployment costs needed on top of Office Communication Server. So that's it. Any questions?
I know it has, it said on the diagram, it has RJ11 and RJ45 jacks. Is that to make it substitute for a regular speakerphone, or?
Okay, so the RJ11 is a full substitute of a regular speaker phone, which is an analog PSTN phone. If you plug that in, this device, right now it's not plugged in, this device can just function like a regular phone. The RJ45 is a network connectivity. Right now in version 1, we're using that port for device management. So then the admin of a company can actually centralize, manage the devices, both the configuration as well as the firmware version running on the device can be configured through that port. And in future versions, we do intend to handle a basically voice over IP version of the device. So, but in version 1, that port is only used for device manageability.
This tying in with CXP?
I would love to see this. We're on the. I've been assured we're on the beta test internally for this hardware. The good news is, as she demonstrated, this is just plug and play hardware. So I could probably test it right now and tell you that it will work as a device. I think it's interesting for that. I think obviously this is for what it's aimed at. It's got a very rich software package already. But yes, I could see this being used with Conference XP. Which begs my first question, my only question, which is, you said that natively in the camera we're 3600 by 600. Is there any way to access that from the PC, or am I only going to be able to get the compressed version?
Currently, it will be just a compressed, but in future versions, we do want to support higher resolutions.
Great. So for us, that would be actually the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because this is doing USB?
Actually, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask.
Speak loud.
I thought the previous prototype was FireWire based, and so I was wondering if the bandwidth constraint was because this is USB instead of FireWire.
It's partially because of the USB. Yeah.
Two questions. The most important one is derived from a remark Jonathan made. It probably needs to be tested with other languages, so I'm volunteering for that. You showed the architecture with SIP-based components, MCU, etc. I guess it's not needed for the device, but can you explain a bit what had to be adapted to live meeting environment to get this work?
Okay, hold on. Let me go back to this. The slide, right? Okay, so live meeting. So is the live meeting infrastructure. So basically, the live meeting client that's running on a client PC will actually authenticate and initiate the sub protocol with what we call the focus, which is basically I would say meeting coordinator. And then the focus will actually figure out, okay, you are Stella, so your meeting X is actually run on this AV MCU and that data MCU, and it will basically help me negotiate with the server. And then the client will actually establish a stream with the individual AV MCUs without going back to the focus after the initial negotiation is done. Does that answer your question? Or?
Yeah, for part. And then what did you have to do to adjust it for the big resolution of that?
For the big resolution, right now, as he said, partially the reason is because we have a USB interface to a PC, as well as based on the feedback that we got from IT admin, is they don't need that high resolution right now. We actually tune it down to a quarter of the native. And to get to the raw resolution, we will need to do a hardware change in future versions to get back to that. And we do have some plan for VGA mode support, which is for the active speaker, and perhaps higher resolution for the panel as well. But it would not come out in the LTM version. Unlikely to come out in the LTM version. Yeah. But maybe a version 1.1 or 1.5 will get to a intermediate, but not the full one. Probably version 2 will get to the. And there are ways to get to the raw video from the PC side, but it's not supported for outside deployment.